Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Taya Salam. It's great to have you join us again. All right, we're starting off with the Nigerian Professional Football League. After match day 3, Rivers United are still perfect.
So perfect.
3 wins out of 3, 5 goals scored, none conceded.
Which is a perfect one for Rivers United, just having a smart, good run. How long will they continue? So many games still to play in Nigerian Professional Football League. But right now, they are top of the table.
They're top and perfect.
All right. Also on the program, we never saw this coming. Well, Leeds United become the second Premier League side to concede 3 goals while losing to a team that is at the 4th tier of the competition.
Wow. End of the road for Leeds United. Premier League side have gotten a lot of rave reviews this season, but they have been knocked out of the English FA Cup by League 2 side Crawley Town. Wow, that's
Crawley
the magic
Town actually sits in League 2.
Magic of the FA
position.
Cup,
Okay.
indeed.
Yeah,
You
that's
say
how
that
it
again.
is.
All right, also on the show in the NBA, the top matchup was between the Lakers and the Houston Rockets. Of course, it was LA prevailing in that very, very exciting and testy affair. LeBron James, of course, and Anthony Davis leading LA to that victory over James Harden and his guys.
Of course, I mean, the Lakers remain perfect on the road this season. 120-102. LeBron and, of course, AD were the guys who ensured that. Well, what happened is that James Harden was just like a passenger. All right.
No, really, come on. You're being very harsh on James Harden. Anyways, let's talk about the other games that were played.
20 points on the night. That's not the James we know.
That's not being
turnovers,
passenger.
you want to know how many?
That's not being
7.
a passenger.
That's the highest.
Yeah, that's not being a passenger. Anyways, let's talk about the result first of all. We'll come back to the Lakers and the Rockets shortly. Let's start off with a game between the Pistons and the Utah Jazz. Ended 96-86, 10-point victory for Utah. Donovan Mitchell was a star for Utah in that game, scoring 13 of his 28 points in a decisive first quarter, and that's how they were able to go on to get that victory over the Detroit Pistons. Elsewhere, it was 130-127 in favor of the LA Clippers. Kawhi Leonard reaching 10,000 career points in that game, scored 35 points for the Clippers. We'll talk about Kawhi shortly. Let's move on to the Okc Thunder and the Brooklyn Nets ended 129-116 in favor of OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the star for OKC in that game, 31 points on the night. KD, of course, came back to great effect, but could not help his team get the victory despite scoring 36 points.
Kyrie Irving is still missing, so maybe he needs her back.
No excuses, though, Cecilia. No excuses whatsoever.
Last time I said that, you said no, it shouldn't be. But now you're saying it.
No, I've always been no excuses, that kind of person. You still need to get on the court and play, regardless of whether you're missing your star player or not. The Denver Nuggets defeated easily the New York Knicks 114-89. Nikola Jokic, 22 points and 10 rebounds, as well as 5 assists. The LA Lakers 120-102 over the Houston Rockets. That's our star game of the night, so we'll be coming back to it shortly. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, like I said, start in that game. The Spurs lost against the Timberwolves. Finally, the Timberwolves were able to snap the 7-game losing streak with a 96-88 victory over San Antonio. D'Angelo Russell, 27.5 rebounds and 5 assists on the night. Last but not the least, definitely is the Raptors losing by just a point against the Golden State Warriors, 106-105. And it was Damian Lee making the game-winning play for the Golden State Warriors. We'll come back to that game as well too after we're done with the Lakers and the Rockets. Cecilia.
Okay, let's start with the Lakers now, talking about the boys who put up some big
numbers.
The
last game,
the last game, okay, yeah, the Heat and the Celtics, because of the numbers of Celtic players that have actually tested positive for coronavirus.
Due to health and safety protocols for COVID-19, Miami do not have enough players available to feature in that game because of COVID health and safety protocols.
They're not just the only one. Even if you look at the other parties, Celtics too JC Tinton, Jalen Brown, all of them, so COVID-19 protocols and all that, so they would not be playing. So at the end of the day, they had to postpone the game.
Yeah, that's a shame. But despite all of this, the NBA, because a lot of players just keep falling victim to this health and safety protocol situation, but the NBA has no plans whatsoever to stop the season. The season is going to continue as scheduled. Let's talk about the Rockets and the LA Lakers. Cecilia, was Anthony Davis, 27 points. LeBron James, 18 points on the night as the Lakers won their 6th game in 7 with a 120-102 victory over Houston. Like I said, it was a very, very testy affair. There was, we actually had 2 ejections in the first half. That was Markieff Morris and DeMarcus Cousins got into a bit of skirmish, and both players had to go.
And of course, when you're having James Harden finishing 20 points, I mean, his teammates, Christian Wood, also had 23 of his own. But then if you check before now, I mean, James Harden had said that, because of the kind of preseason that they had, they're not really a balanced team. So there's something fishy there. But, I mean, for him on the night, he didn't really... When I said it was a passenger, because, I mean, James Harden that we know can come up with as much as 40, 60, 50 points on the night. But this time I had 20 points and 9 assists. Then, I mean, he finished with a season high of 7 turnovers. Then you ask yourself, what's wrong with him?
So that's the issue right there.
The issue is turnovers and all that.
With the ball. 7 turnovers in a game against the Lakers.
The Lakers, I mean, you'll be punished for that.
Exactly, and that's exactly.
And he made just 12 of 41 attempts from 3-point range.
There you go.
12 of 41. So that's not the James that we know.
12 of 41 is what you said? 12 of 41.
12 of 41 attempts from 3-point range. Okay.
Okay, let's get the post-match reaction. We'll come back to that. Sounds very, very awful.
No, I'm talking about the full Rockets team, not just James Harden. The full team.
There you go. You had to clarify that.
The full
team. There's no way James Harden
not just James Harden. No. Talking about the full team. Come on now.
41 shots and threes
all
in
the
the
team.
game.
All the team.
All
the team 12.
Let's get the post-match reaction coming from that game. We'll come back and listen to not James Harden, to LeBron James
and Anthony Davis
are speaking after the game later on. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors.
Of course,
and their game against the Raptors. Very tough game. 1 point. 1 point is a difference, but that's enough to win a basketball game.
It was enough because the Raptors tried to actually rally in that 4th quarter, but it just didn't happen for them. Because Steph Curry, of course, on the night, he was really, really poor. He had 2 of 16 from the field, and he made only 1 of his 10 3-point attempts for 11 points in 38 minutes. We're talking about Steph Curry, and this is actually his worst career shooting night. I mean, it's never been so bad when we talk about Steph Curry. But then the good thing is about 6 players were on double figures. So when you have that togetherness, that kind of defensive style of play, and that's how they were able to win this one, just by 1 point.
And that's why
it's heartbreak for Raptors, really.
Heartbreak indeed. But for Steph Curry, we saw him just moments ago, all smiles, despite having the worst shooting night of his career. Still ended up with a W, and that's because the other guys came to the party. Andrew Wiggins, Eric Pascal, Damian Lee as well, let's not forget him, making the winning play of that game. And
Draymond Green, I mean, he had a double-double on the night.
There you go. So that's what I said. A lot of the times, the Golden State Warriors will need Steph to play at a very high level to get a chance to win the game. But the times when it's off, like last night, the other players have to step up, and that's exactly what they did. Let's get the post-match reaction coming from that game. We'll get to listen to Steve Kerr as well as Steph Curry.
We've become a good defensive team. Toronto is one of the toughest teams in the league to guard. They scored 144 2 nights ago in Sacramento. We held them to 105 points. So I'm really proud of the group. Over the last 10 days or so, they've established that they're going to be an excellent defensive team, and we can still get better.
It means obviously we're moving in the right direction. And my offense is, I expect it to be there every night. And, obviously with how teams are defending, night to night, being able to figure that out. But in terms of us just having confidence across the board, no matter who's out there on the floor, I like where we're at right now in terms of, guys stepping up, us staying within ourselves, finding, different ways to execute on that end of the floor. But we don't win a game like this. Forget my shooting. We don't forget a game like this, or we don't win a game like this, without our defense taking strides in the right direction.
All right, then that's Steph Curry, obviously delighted with that victory over the Toronto Raptors, despite the fact that he just shot 2 out of 16 on the night. But it's a win for the Golden State Warriors. And you have to say, unlike when the season started, when it was, I was worried with the way and the manner in which they got blown out in the first couple of games.
Yeah.
But they're looking good now, and they've got a very legitimate shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, it was what they did on Friday night, beating the Clippers. That's when I knew that these guys, the comeback they had against the Clippers. Yeah. I said, look, these guys are really, they just don't want to have that record of having poor seasons back to back. Especially when having at least Steph Curry is fit right now. One is back of the Splash Brothers and all that. So they wouldn't want to have that unwanted record of having a very, very awful season. So we can say playoff contenders, right?
Yeah,
it's looking like.
Yeah,
okay.
Why not? They've got a very good chance of doing just that.
Let's go to the other camp. The Raptors, how painful can it be losing by just 1 point? Let's get reactions from, of course, Nick Nurse.
Yeah, it was a good fourth quarter, Doug, obviously. And I think, we talk about we want to be able to play our best defense in the fourth quarter. And I thought we really did a good job of, just hardly any breakdowns. There was several, early in the game, and through the course of the game you're going to have them. But I only have one in my head in the fourth quarter where there was a just we didn't do the right thing. Other than that, we made them make tough shots and tough plays and made them miss a lot and kept them off. Kept them for the most part off the glass. Just unfortunate. We're scrambling, playing hard there, and we got them really bottled up for the game-winning play, and they're casting up a double pumper, and just unfortunate we got kind of got caught with the hands in the cookie jar type of deal. Too bad, just a bad break.
Yeah, quite disappointing, having to just try as much as possible coming back in that fourth quarter. But then the rally just wasn't enough because the Warriors, they've sealed it already. 6 players on double digits.
Bad break for the Toronto Raptors. Pascal
What's their
Siakam
record right now?
had a chance to win the game, but missed the jumper at the buzzer.
Painful.
Yeah, very painful. You can say that again. Of course, Fred VanVleet, 21 points on the night. Wasn't enough.
It wasn't at all.
The Raptors are struggling as well. They need to snap out of whatever funk that they're in at the moment, because they're starting to lag behind. They didn't what?
They're missing the comfort of their room.
Yeah,
in Florida.
perhaps, but that's not enough reason.
The warmth at home is not the same.
It's not the same.
It's
You're
not
playing
the
on your
same,
home court.
it's not the same.
Even though there are no fans there.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Just that familiar feeling.
Yeah,
it's not there.
True.
Maybe that could be it. Or the fact that, we talked earlier how most of their star players, left and all that. But they should be able to.
Two major
players
living. Centers, for that matter. Serge and Mark. And they're struggling to replace those guys.
And see what Mark is doing with the Lakers and the Serge. Oh, man, these guys. Okay, let's take a look at top performance for the day, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then, the big boys, the ones who put up the numbers on the night. Who are we starting with, Tayo?
Start with Zach LaVine. Zach has been having a tremendous start to the season for the Chicago Bulls. Yesterday, again, it was just on fire, almost unstoppable. 45 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. In that game against the LA Clippers, of course, he's ended up on the losing side because this next guy, Kawhi Leonard, had a very good game as well. So Kawhi,
reaching a milestone,
yeah. Okay, Kawhi is done with the mask now, but he was able to put up 35 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. And like I said, he's now up to 10,000 career points for Kawhi Leonard. Let's go on to Shia Gilgeous-Alexander, young star playing ever so well for the OKC Thunder. 31, 6, and 7 on the night for OKC in their own victory as well.
Over the Brooklyn Nets.
They break the Nets. So making all the efforts of KD, 36, 11,
36,
and 4.
which was big.
Yeah.
KD, huge. for them.
Useless at the end of the day.
Yeah. Not possible.
That's how basketball is at times. It can be very, very painful.
Of
Hopefully, Kyrie can come back as soon as possible. He's been missing because
personal reasons.
Personal reasons. No
So
one knows what the personal
what
reasons
are.
Imagine me not coming to work and not
For
letting
personal reasons.
not letting management know
You
why
know,
I am not coming.
But we know who we are talking about,
Yeah,
right?
so they
Kyrie
knew
Irving.
what they were getting,
So
right?
they knew what they were getting. So that's who he is. So he's a guy. Someone that will tell you he's going to sit out a game, he's not playing for no reason. He won't
So,
give.
Cecilia,
That's who he is.
But that's
I'm not surprised because that's
yeah,
who
I'm not surprised
he
as
is.
well too. But sometimes I'm like,
You just
is he
thinking-
being serious? Like for
Yeah,
real?
I mean, the coach
Anyways,
they've asked him
we're
several
hearing,
times.
we don't know if it's true or not. Since he
Just
hasn't told
rumors.
anyone, it's been rumored that Kyrie is sitting out because of the insurrection that happened at the Capitol.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that's got to do with basketball.
But you can play and make your statements right there. That's what the likes of LeBron and all that these stars, that's what they've done.
Absolutely.
So,
All right,
okay.
then.
Talk
Let's-
about tennis now. What's happening in Florida? I mean, we know everyone is preparing for the first Grand Slam of
Tennis
the
is
year.
back.
That will be in February, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But then in Florida, right there, you have some top stars playing. And of course, there's the first casualty there. Third-seeded Andre Manarino losing to Cameron Norrie in straight set, 6-2, 7-5. So he has booked his spots in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but we're seeing pictures are coming from the matchup between Francis Tiafoe against Bjorn Fratangelo. That's in Florida, the Delray Beach Open.
Okay.
Tiafoe winning 6-4, 3-6, 6-1 in just 1 hour and 50 minutes. He's going to take on the guy
Of
you
course,
just
I
talked
talked
about,
about,
Cam Norrie, who defeated third seed Adrian Manarino of France. So congratulations to Francis Tiafoe, who is now advanced to the next round in Florida.
We have a Hackers there.
Hackers as well.
Hackers
Hackers,
closing
yeah.
past Gallant 6-2, 6-2, just straight point. He needed 59 minutes. Okay. 59 minutes, he was done. A minute, less than an hour.
Straightforward
Yeah,
win
like-
for Hukash. He's going to play Ecuador's Roberto Quiros in the next round. That's after Quiros defeated Ivo Karlovic 6-2 and 6-4. Cecilia, this competition is all about, like I said, getting ready for the first major of the year. A lot of these guys hardly played last year because of the disruption to the calendar by COVID. But it's good to see them all back and playing tennis, and hopefully they'll all be ready for the Australian Open.
Okay, well, some pictures, the one I talked about earlier. Yeah, I mean, the
against
upset.
Mandarino.
You don't expect this to happen because he's unseeded for this tournament and all
Yeah,
that.
but
Everyone is looking for 500 points, which is
That's
great.
what happens when, I mean, it's an open season. Players haven't been playing a lot, so it kind of narrows the golfing class between, players when you have this kind of situation. And Cam Norrie is definitely taking full advantage to upset Mandarino in their match. All right, then when we come back tomorrow, we'll continue to, provide you updates on the Delray Beach Open in Florida. But we need to go on a break now. When we come back, it's going to be all about the Nigerian Professional Football League. We're going to be showing you how Rivers United managed to stay perfect after match day 3.
Welcome back. You guys can talk to us on our Twitter handle on channels_sports. Tell us the games you watch at the weekend, especially Nigeria Professional Football League, where you have Rivers United remaining perfect. I mean, 3 games out of 3, not just winning, but scoring and also not conceding goals. Should we say Rivers United are favourite to win the league title? I think it's too early to call. But from the way they started, just having a perfect record, it seems they are now the team to beat. We're thinking against Kawhi United and all that. There's some teams you want to face, you think maybe that's when it's going to end. But then their run just continues. Tell us about MPFL and the games you watch this weekend. The Southside Derby, of course, that happened in Lagos, where you have MFM and Sunshine Stars. It was all about MFM winning by just a lone goal scored early in the game, but then they were able to hold on to that victory. They also won at home. And of course, Rangers went away from home to beat Jigawa Golden Stars. So tell us about that game. And also the FA Cup, the magic is happening. Leeds United, they are out. I mean, a team in League 2, fourth tier in the English league, were the ones that took them out of the FA Cup. Tell us about that one also. And of course, you have the likes of United and Manchester City just having a cruise run. But United had to leave it late before they could get a win. Not really leave it. I mean, they scored early, but then that was just it. I mean, it was boring anyway, so making you sleep and all that. But then Ole is talking about the man who made it possible for them this morning. So tell us about that and so much more on the program this morning. We'll try as much as possible to take your tweets. Okay, we have two guests in the studio. First, the one in the studio. Welcome, Nademola. Welcome. It's good to have you join us again.
Thank you so much, Sisi. And thank you, Tayo.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Good to see you guys again. Good morning, viewers.
Okay. So we just cut to this, just dive in into match day 3 of the Nigeria Professional Football League. Let's first of all show you the results before we do. Demola helps us with the analysis of all the games. Like we said, 2 away wins on match day 3. But let's start with Plateau United. First win of the season. They got it against Athland by 3-0. It was quite convincing indeed for Plateau United of Jos right here in Lagos. It was a very early strike from Dennis Obasi that gave MFM a 1-0 win over Sunshine Stars. Rangers went away to Jigawa to win by a lone goal as well. There were also 1-0 wins for Dakada away from home. Enyimba in about 1-0 over Wiki Tourists. Elsewhere, Nasura 1-0 against Kano Pillars. Late equalizer there considered by Kano Pillars. It was 2-0 for Katsina United over Adamawa United. While last but not the least was Logo Stars with a convincing 3-0 win over Warri Wolves. All right then, let's start with what happened in Lagos.
Yes.
Ademola, you followed that game.
Yes, I did.
Early goal for MFM.
Yes.
We're going to see pictures from that match at the Agege Stadium. But scored as early as the 7th minute.
Yes, 7th minute by Dennis Obasi.
Yeah, and you thought, okay, early goal, now go and build on it and perhaps score a couple more goals. But it didn't happen. As a matter of fact, Sunshine Stars seem to be the better side after they consider
the advantage is if you score first in a game like this, I mean, you're much more relaxed.
There you go.
Be able to soak up the pressure, which MFM were able to do perfectly. I mean, they scored in the early hours of the match.
Very early, yeah.
For them to hold on and get a valid 3-point, I mean, it's massive for them going forward in the season. And it's brilliant to see that in the league now, these days, you get to witness away wins, which was rare back in the day when we used to watch the MPFL. But seeing that players can go, I think with the matches being live on the various apps, MPFL TV, and being shown on TV, I think that gives a bit of credence to.
That's a lapse in concentration.
It is, and that's
Sunshine defense. And in the end of the day, it was just a tapping for Dennis Obasi. But like I said, after this goal, I thought MFM would go on to, dominate and perhaps make it a lot more comfortable. It didn't pan out that way.
It didn't happen at all. I mean, Demola, I was going to ask you, do you think, the way that Tony Bolus actually set up, because it's hard, you scored a goal in the 7th minute. I mean, how do you defend that goal? I mean, we'll listen to Ogunbote later when he said his team were actually careless. Was it carelessness on the part of Sunshine Stars? Right. Or maybe, MFM just had that grit, defensive way and all that?
You could see that there was a bit of lapse in defense from the opposition team. And MFM getting that early goal, like I mentioned earlier, is going to set them up in a mood that they're much more relaxed, soak up the pressure. 3-point is what is most important at this stage. Exactly, at this stage of the season. Get your 3 points and seal up your defense line, and which they did brilliantly in that match there.
Okay, let's get reactions coming from the coach of MFM, Tony Bolus.
Very happy. Very, very happy. Playing against a stronger side like Sunshine and getting the 3 points. We give glory to God. Like I always tell people, they have their moments. We still have our moments in those periods. They have their moments. They will always play. You can't stop them from playing. They will play. But at the end of the day, did they score? No. Like I always tell my boys in the dressing room, the strength of everything relies on the bench. If there's problem, the people on the bench will come and make difference. And that is what happened.
I mean, he's happy with his bench. I mean, they all came on and they tried to protect that lead and all that. Despite everything that Sunshine Stars did, they just couldn't score. And that's why he's a happy man this morning. Just imagine there was a mistake somewhere and they conceded. He wouldn't be smiling at all.
He wouldn't be smiling because 1-0 is a very dangerous lead. It is. You know, but they got over the line. They got all their 3 points, like I said. Says kind of admitted that Sunshine Stars played very well, but did they score?
No.
I see what I'm saying. Anyways, let's go to the other camp.
Yeah.
Bengal Gumbote, he's
and
not
David
very,
Ariyu.
and David as well. Today, not very happy with the outcome of the result, feeling that perhaps they should have gotten something out of that game.
It has been won and lost. All we need to do is to go with the positive from the game. And sometimes, you see, carelessness, you pay dearly for it, just like we have done today. And we are just 3 weeks old in the league. And I'm sure you remember several things happened before now. This is just a team that is less than 1 month old. And beside that, we still have transfer ban on us. And we're just trying to see what we can do to make best use of the situation we have found ourselves. And unfortunately, it is not a game we should have lost.
Well, I can say I see luck against us, but at the same time, we'll go back to our drawing board and coach know the best thing to do by the time we get home to play our own game.
There you go, there, Sunshine Stars goalkeeper David Ariyu, obviously disappointed that they're not taking anything back to Akure from Lagos, but it is what it is. They will need to bounce back in their next game. Cecilia, let's get on with the show now. We have our next guest.
Okay, yeah, before we talk about Rivers, we have Biola Kazim is joining us via Zoom this morning. Biola, good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Wish you the same. Compliments. Okay, today is 11th. Yeah, it's still a Happy New Year because we're still in January.
How was it this year?
Yeah, exactly. How was your holidays? How did you spend it, Were you just home or you did some fun stuff?
Yeah, I was in town. I did a lot of eating and a lot of reading, basically. Just spent a lot of time with family. It was a really, really great time. I feel refreshed.
Awesome.
Great to know about that. Now, we're talking about Nigeria Professional Football League. We just finished with Sunshine Stars and MFM right here in Lagos and all that. I mean, everyone saw that game because it was live on MPFL TV and all of that. So we saw the game live. Because it's advisable to actually stay at home and not go to the stadium. But some people are still going to the stadium, which is really not so cool. But staying at home and watch from the comfort of the home is the best because you can watch it anywhere. I mean, you saw that game. What do you make of the whole play?
To be honest, I didn't see the game. I was in transit. I was flying to Lagos. But my general opinion about the MPFL, this season, is that I think that the advent of trying to get the league back on TV and also switching on a platform like MPFL TV fundamentally is a big, big step, going forward for the entire league. I'm talking about the league as a proposition, as a business, now, not just in terms of results. And so, efforts like that, efforts that we all have to encourage, efforts that we all have to support. And naturally, there'll be 1 or 2 issues as they build out the platform, for distribution of the of the MPFL. But again, like I said, these are efforts that must be commended. They are efforts that must be encouraged because if the league is not on TV in 2021, if it is not easily accessible, you cannot watch it. Fundamentally, what we are doing is inter-house sports, So now that the investment is going in that direction, we can see efforts going in that direction. I think that is a fantastic platform for everyone concerned, for the administrators, for the players themselves, who need big platforms for people all across Nigeria and all across the world, to watch them and see them. I say to people that there's nothing more heartbreaking for footballers to spend time training and preparing and then play football matches, not just in empty stadia, but also knowing that the only people in the world who are watching them play as they speak right now are the only people in this area. In some cases, less than 1,000 people. And so now that they have a much bigger platform, to show themselves, you are going to be having interesting games like what we saw MFM,
Sunshine
Stars. So yeah, that's my view.
Okay.
All right. Let's leave our MFM and go to the perfect team. After 3 games, Rivers United. Cecilia, you have a lot to say about this side. They were in action. That's Rivers United, and it was a very, very convincing win for them. 3-0 over Kwara United. We'll come back to you now. We were seeing pictures from that game. Demola, it's still early doors, but I mean, there's no better way to start a season than starting with 3 straight wins, no goals considered, 5 scored.
I mean, what better way to start? And it's safe to say that the first 2 matches were won by lone goals.
Yeah.
This time around, 3 goals, very convincing.
I mean, look at that.
Not forgetting the fact that the opponent got a red card in the second half. The game was done and dusted by then anyway, you know. And it was a penalty that they converted to make it 3-0.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not conceding, scoring 3 goals, winning 3 out of 3. I mean, you could say that indeed they are title contenders.
I mean, the thing about them is not just Godwin and Good that is just scoring. I know you have other players. Chika Godwin also scored. Then Ifeanyi Ademena was the guy. I was surprised. I mean, he's a centre back, you know, defender, even scoring and all that. So it shows this team, but not just looking at. I mean, I said they went to Rangers to read all their players and all that. Because of that, they are blending and all. But I think
they have recruited well.
Yeah, they have. That's the question I want to pose to Abiola Kazim. I mean, we've seen. I mean, you may not have watched some of the games, but we've seen what Rivers United have been doing and all that, recruiting well and also consistency, because they've had. I mean, they have the longest serving MPFL coach right now. That continuity, is it really what is working for them? And how can these leagues really set up to not have maybe a player playing this season and the next season is out? Because it seems Rivers United is actually following the normal model that we all know across Europe.
I think that's a very brilliant point, Jamie, talking about the consistency of Rivers United. They've had Stanley Aguma as long as they've been, you know, and that's not something that's common in the NPFL. In fact, I think that probably maybe the NPFL has the largest or the highest coach turnover in probably all of the leagues that we follow every year. And it's a merry-go-round. You know, they sack somebody here and then he shows up there, and then they sack him here and then he shows up here. You know, that's what we've had. But Rivers United, as long as they've been Rivers United, Stanley Aguma has been in charge. Some will say to you that it's never a good thing for a manager to be in charge without consequences. And we've seen them, they've had a couple of poor seasons. But like you said again, sometimes as well, when you leave a manager for such a long period, he's able to get his ideas in. Also, a critical message is sent to the players that you will have to perform because you are more likely to go than for the manager to go. And sometimes those kind of messages are very, very important for players to take on board. But I think another point that has helped Rivers United this season is the fact that unlike many other teams, they started competitive football a bit earlier than all of the other guys. I'm talking now about, you know, playing on the continent. When you play those games, they give you a sharpness, a competitive edge that other clubs might not have. That's not to say that's an excuse for those clubs to lose. In the case of Kawhi United, to lose, you know, so woefully. But the point is that Rivers United have a bit of more miles, you know, on their legs. The players are, you know, played a few more competitive games. They've been in a tough situation. I remember their last game that they had to win, you know, on penalties at home. It was they played on the edge, you know, for long periods. Were looking to win the game. They couldn't. Ultimately went to penalties. Those games, in some way, just makes your players a lot sharper. Mentally, they are more focused, you know, than I would say maybe players from clubs like Kawhi United who are not on the continent. So it looks like it's nicely set up for Rivers United to go on and launch an assault, you know, win the league title. They've not won it, I think, since they became Rivers United. This wouldn't be a bad year to do it. And, you know, like the point Yemi made, if they go on to do it, you probably will have to allude to that. Maybe Stanley Aguma being there for so long ultimately has led to something that they can all cheer about.
All right, still very early though. Still loads of games to play. Just 3 plays, still 35 more to go. So we can start talking about titles right now.
Let's get excited. We can talk about titles.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right then. Demola, 2 away wins, match day 3.
Yes.
One came from Rangers and the other came from Dakada. Against FC Ifeanyi.
I mean, they scored in the 29th minute. After scoring, just like, I mean, similar to MFM, but this time around, they are playing away. Scored in the 29th minute, locked out shop. I mean, the opponent, they tried, but tried as you know as they may. Yeah. Dakada held it down and won that match 1-0.
It was a well-worked
like I mentioned
well
earlier.
Too.
Yes, it was.
Pictures are coming from that match.
And like I mentioned earlier, what matters at this early stage of the season getting that 3 points, it's vital, and they managed to do that away from home for that matter. So, brilliant win for them.
Great 3 points.
Menjobi,
Yes.
they will definitely respect this guy for going away from home and getting that one for them.
All right, then. Let's go to Plateau United.
Yes, that's the team. We've been talking about Plateau United, the fact that when are they going to get their first win of the season? Finally, they got that. And what a way to do that. 3-0.
In style.
Against Heartland. 3 men winless. Got it in style. We'll go to Biola Kezi right now. Biola, when Plateau United, they also started early, but we're not seeing they starting early because they also were playing on the continent before they were just booted out. It was so
embarrassing.
Easy. Embarrassed, precisely.
Yeah.
They were embarrassed out of the continent and all that. But at the end of the day, they've not been able to translate the fact that they started early to the league. This is their first win of the season. The last one, they went away from home to get a draw, and they knew that they were building the momentum and all that. But this one, 3-0, against, hapless Heartland, and they've hit the ground running right now.
Maybe what we will say in their case is that unlike Rivers United, who found some fortune, starting early, they were badly disappointed, and maybe that hit their confidence a little bit. Like you said, they were kicked out of the competition. But yeah, a point can be made for the fact that Heartland themselves have been very poor this season, and maybe Plateau United capitalized on that. I think that for me, the key story about Plateau United was the very, very disappointing step that we heard about the management slashing the player salaries in half because results were not good. Those are not the kind of things we want to hear about the NPFL anymore. Those are things we had 20 years ago and we shouldn't be hearing anymore. If the players have a contract with you, their contract is not dependent, or what their pay is not dependent on results. You pay them their money. Their bonuses and all whatnot that are tied around results, of course, that would be determined by the kind of results that they're getting. But nobody should be slashing anybody's salary simply because they are not winning. In fact, we are going to be slashing anybody's salary. It should be the management salary that should be slashed because they are the ones who are not performing. And that's why the players are not performing and not, punitive measures against players where the management and administration will feel fat, and make the players essentially feel like they are doing them a favor. They are rendering a service. You will pay them their salaries. If they are not doing well enough, you can fire them, you can rescind their contracts, and even that you have to pay the full value of the contract. You can sell them, but you should pay people their full salaries.
Yeah, valid points right there, right? Demar, you clearly agree with what Biola just said.
I do. Valid point. Pay the players their wages. They're not the cost. They may not be performing on the pitch, but that does not negate the fact that you have to slash their salaries. At the end of the season, you can choose to sell them off, terminate contract, but not slash their salaries. You're trying to encourage them to play better and give you results on the pitch, not try to demoralize them by slashing their...
We're happy that they've gone through all that. Abdul Makaba is definitely a happy man this morning because having 3 players scoring and all that, the likes of JC Akila, Mohamadu Zukifi, and Amos Giang, the 3 of them on the score sheet in that game.
All right. We need to go on a break. Biola is still with us. When we come back, we'll be talking about the magic of the FA Cup. Leeds United, Marcelo Bielsa's side, a coach highly revered by a lot of sports analysts and pundits across the world. I don't know if Biola is one of them. They're out. They've been knocked out by Crawley Town, a team in League 2. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham were in action as well against Marine FC. 8-tail side. He had fans watching from their back gardens, seeing the likes of Harry Kane. Harry Kane, even though they didn't play, but seeing all the superstars for the Tottenham Hotspur in action, and definitely was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for all the fans of Marine FC, even though they have now crashed out of the competition. We need to go on that break. When we come back, we'll be doing a review of the FA Cup third-round matches in England. You're welcome back. Time to talk about the FA Cup third-round matches that were played yesterday. I said it before we went on the break that Leeds United are out. They've been knocked out by Crawley Town. When we saw the draw, the fixtures for the third round matches, did you ever think, or did you think Leeds will be one of those teams to fall victims on upsets? Considering how they played this season and all the rave reviews they're getting from pundits and analysts.
They were playing a team 62 places below them in the Premier League.
Ouch.
Coached by Marcelo Bielsa. Leeds have been scoring for fun.
Yep.
and seeing them not scoring even a goal. I mean, Crawley Town had time to even call on a reality TV star.
Yeah, to make his
in
debut.
their ranks to make his debut.
Make his debut.
It was that bad for
That was
Leeds.
the insult, yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Okay,
So-
you know, let's go to Bella, what he makes of this Leeds United, because everyone actually loved their style of play and all that, the way they play, the way they set up.
Quite
But
exciting.
somehow, if you cannot score against a team, fourth year, come on, how do you kind of rate Leeds United? Is it that they just took this, it's just FA Cup, let's just go and play? What do you think really happened in this game for Leeds United, Bella?
I mean, but what we can conclude is that it was an embarrassing loss. And it's one that's way beneath them. Yeah, they do get a lot of credit, their manager particularly, for how they play. And, you know, in some way, maybe he deserves some of the praise. I personally think that the praise is a bit excessive. And there's a bandwagon to praise him even when he loses games, like in this case. What typically happens when clubs play against smaller league sides or, you know, sides that are way beneath them is that mentally the players are just not at the races. And, you know, and that's why we allude to the magic of the FA Cup. I say to people that a lot of times when the smaller teams beat the big teams in the FA Cup, it's not because the smaller teams played well. It's typically because the big teams did not play well. If Leeds United played anywhere near their capacity, they will absolutely, you know, dismantle Crawley Town. But when the players mentally, for some reason, are just not able to switch on, you know, and apply themselves, in some way, it calls for a certain level of humility that certain players are not able to find. And so you go to the games feeling a bit entitled, thinking that your overall quality should be too much for these folks. And then for some reason, they are in your faces and they get a goal and then you get a second one. You are just not able to react, you know, to the aggression and their own mentality to come at you. So it's a fine line to walk. And managers, you know, when these things happen, managers will allude to the fact that they were just not there mentally. So it's really a mental thing. But I mean, so this happened, I think, last year as well to Leeds United. I think they got knocked out by Hull City as well in this fashion. So in some way, it might be that the players are just not really up for games like this. And we've seen them to be a form of a yo-yo side. They can go on and win 4-0 this weekend and then lose, 4-0 next weekend. Like I said, a lot of praise, for how they played, particularly in England. I watch them and I watch La Liga a lot and I watch the Bundesliga and I see a lot of teams with no-name managers who play very, very good football as well and who are still competitive, and the managers don't get anywhere near the praise of, Marcelo, Bielsa. So, I mean, credit to him, credit to those who are in awe of him, but I'm not in awe of him. I think
You just answered my question that I asked before the break. One of those pundits, analysts, of Marcelo Bielsa. Before we let you go, the big story coming out of England, the FA Cup, is Marine FC. They lost, of course, to Tottenham. But like I said, it was one in a lifetime experience for the players and for the fans and for the management of the side as well, too, because even though they weren't allowed to get fans into the stadium, but they managed to sell 30,000 virtual tickets, and that's definitely going to bring good money into their coffers.
Yep, I mean, absolutely. And, for me, the picture of the game was a couple of women behind the Tottenham dugout. You will see that they were sort of like in the
back gardens.
Just right, just right in front of them. The picture just, how many people in the world have the privilege of seeing all maybe using Mourinho from their backyard, and that really is what the FA Cup is all about. It's about pictures like this, about moments like this. And talking about Marine FC as well, and obviously the whole country, watching them. Also remember that their players try to swap jerseys with Tottenham players. Because of the COVID-19 protocols, of course, Tottenham players could not swap, jerseys with them. And so what the Tottenham team did was that they gave all of the players of Marine FC a fresh set of players of Tottenham that played the game for them to go and, keep the jerseys as memorabilia for what might be the biggest occasions in their career. I felt that was a really, really classy touch by Tottenham, very considerate. And, like I said, all of these things are the stories that make the FA Cup the romantic, compelling competition that it is.
You're right, spot on, Biola Kazim. Many thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do this very soon again. Thank you.
Absolutely. I always have fun being here with you guys. Hopefully we'll do it again soon.
All right. Cheers, mate. All right, then. That's it for the FA Cup.
Take a couple of tweets.
Okay, a couple. No, not just one.
Okay, 2 or 3. Yeah,
okay, before we look at the papers.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, Noble Flyer Man says, okay, everything in Nigeria is done in reverse with dictatorial tendencies and all. Ozil is being paid according to his contract. Why would Plateau United players slash salary for losing some, for losing the
just
same dictatorial tendency of the NFF and all that, just losing a game? I mean, okay.
Just the first game of the season.
And Dr. Kenneth says, Leeds not playing in the Elite League seems to be carried away. Okay, nothing else explains that laggy performance. Shout out to Aston Villa, young lads, and to team for beating Newcastle. Okay, to your team, that's Arsenal,
yes.
of course. Arsenal, when it comes to the FA Cup, if they lose even if they lose to Man City, it's an offset because Emirates FA Cup, right? Where are they playing? Emirates.
They own that competition.
More like it. Sheung Paul says we need to start getting funding for our local sports. Some of us really want to watch the matches live, but as it stands now, we only rely on channel sports show. We need sponsorship and funding. Now, for the NPFL, you can actually download the app, npfl.tv. Just go to Google and download your app. As long as you're using a smartphone, download it and you watch it live anywhere you are, in your bathroom, anywhere.
Watch on cable,
you can just watch cable and all that. So you can actually watch games. It's just that you can watch one game at a time, so you can't watch every game. They just pick a star match of the week and they try to show that. So that's what's been happening. And he said Rivers United have been consistent and this can help them win the league. It's too early to predict anyways, but it will surely help them stay on top. Okay? All right, there's so many comments. Christian Odoku says, I find it very discouraging that one is unable to watch or stream his or her home team when playing live games. While our matches are big to be televised, it won't grow the sport. Come on, you can't watch every game. Even EPL, you can't watch every game. And they just pick some big games, and those are the ones that are televised, so you can see every game. Okay, but after that, you can always go to the app and check. They have some highlights that you can always catch up and all that. So, yeah. Okay, look at the papers now. Start with the Sporting Sun and Indeed. Mikel, my idol. I mean, they played together. I mean, I was watching that game. I'm like, after the game and all that, I love
was on one side, fair.
But funny.
Leicester,
they were just wicked against Stoke City. I mean, she's just wicked. That's Sporting Zone. Okay, Complete Sports is next if we have that one. Complete Sports here. Gattuso, Siemens arm still a bit swollen to undergo another COVID-19 test today. Okay,
wow. That's part of the protocols.
Onacho unhappy despite 19th league goal. Why is he unhappy? They lost the game.
He lost the game, but
he lost the game.
Yes.
He won the battle, lost the war.
Yeah.
Last paper is Sports in Life. Uzawa plays first game in a year. Wow.
He's back.
Goalkeeper back. Rice not interested in moving to Manchester United. Wages thought Ericsson's Inter exit. A lot of very interesting stories on Sports in Life. But Ademola, that's where we anchor on the show today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
So
let's do it again soon.
All right, very soon indeed. Thank you for watching as well. I am Tayo Salah.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.